Hi guys, this is Bonus Points, DJ Miles.
Christian Elio.
We're here to talk about Walking Dead, right?
Walking Dead. Yeah. Alright, let's talk about Walking Dead.
We didn't do a recap last week because,
Let's just call it technical difficulties.
Yeah.
I don't really want to get into it. I mean, there's a lot of different reasons why it didn't happen. But the fact is we're here now. And we're ready to talk about the last episode of Walking Dead, which I believe was entitled Isolation, right?
Yeah. Well, let's just go ahead and just
bring... recap?
Well, no. I was going to say one thing about episode 2, which is going to lead us into this.
Oh, yeah, go for it.
It just basically ended with, wow, why am I forgetting that guy's name? Tyrese. Yeah.
A fan favorite of the comic that you've read over 100 issues.
Over 100 times.
Whatever, that's fine.
Yeah, Tyrese comes with flowers, singing a little song.
Yeah.
You know, he's gonna...
To his little girl.
Yeah, he's gonna swoon his girl, and then, she's not there.
Not only is she not there, she's... Well, okay, let's go frame by frame. All right, dude shows up, and he doesn't find her, but what he finds is a trail of blood.
Yep.
Right, so he's walking down this trail of blood down this corridor, and obviously he's not gonna find anything good. It's a trail of blood, but what he finds is fucking horrific, man. It's bodies that are still smoking. They're still smoking. Someone lit them on. I mean, I don't know if they killed. Obviously, probably didn't kill him. He killed him first and then drug him out. So maybe it's a little bit more humane. But yeah, it was like this fucking chilling thing, and the way it was shot, it was just really gruesome.
Yeah, it was.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're just like, wow, I got it, and that's how the episode ends. I mean, does he get Rick and everyone to see at the end of episode 2? Or is that how episode 3 starts?
No,
right?
that's how it ends. Episode 3, I was actually going to ask how it did start because I just saw the beginning intro.
Okay, well then I'm pretty sure that's exactly how it started.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now going to episode 3, apparently, because again I didn't see the first 3 minutes, but Rick got in a fight with Tyrese?
Yeah. Okay, so that's totally the first. Yeah, the intro is just like him sitting there and trying to investigate it, and Tyrese is just like livid as fuck, obviously, which he has every right to be. And Rick's not all there. He's trying to reconcile the differences. Because I think it's one of those things. He's tried to step out of that authoritative role.
He's still Farmer Rick.
Yeah, he wants to be Farmer Rick. I mean, that's what I liked about last episode. Not to talk too much about it, but I feel like the second episode was about you can only deny your role and your responsibility for so long. Eventually, when the chips are down, you have to do what you have to do. And I thought that was a big role of the second episode. So this episode, it's Rick realizing that, but struggling with it still because he doesn't want to be that guy, Yeah. But there's a line in that one where he's like, you need to find out who did this. You need to find out who did this. And then I think Tyrese said it was just like, if you don't do anything about this, you're saying that murder's okay here, and then you're no different than Woodbury or the governor. And that's true. And I think that's a really telling fucking part of that, right? Because it's true. I don't know. It was an interesting thing. I mean, the big mystery of the whole episode was who done it, And I think last week you were telling me fucking Herschel did it. You were so convinced that Herschel did it. Did you think his portrayal in this role?
Wait. What did I say?
You said you thought it was Herschel. You told
Herschel did what?
Burned the bodies. Yeah.
No, we didn't.
You totally told me that. We didn't record it last week, so I can't go back to the tape.
No. That's how episode 2 ended. We didn't do a video of episode 2.
I know. That's what I'm saying. We didn't do a video, but you and I talked about it.
You talked to someone else.
I talked to anybody. I don't know anyone else who watches Walking Dead. Apparently, 16 million people who watch this show. I don't know anyone but you who watches this.
No. I did not.
All right. So who did you think it was then?
I didn't know, and I guess that's well. Now we all know who did it, but I was trying to think who could have done it because you see Rick throughout the episode trying to figure that out himself, and he sees the hand marks and all that stuff from the door and all that. So and the way he crouched down, I'm like, was it? I wasn't gonna assume Carl, but it's it looked like it was someone that went out of their way to not put it on them. So I didn't think it was Carol.
You thought they were throwing details off to allude to something.
Yeah. So, but I didn't know who it was though.
Yeah, I think that was the great thing about it. I mean, I thought it could have been Herschel, but only because how everyone was reacting towards the virus to begin with. I mean, I guess you just want to reveal that now who it ended up being. I mean, that's what I would do. I mean,
it's Carol, and that's how the episode ended. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I loved it. Kind of.
No, I loved it.
Yeah,
too.
right.
Yeah,
I've been waiting for this show to do things I didn't expect it to do. You know. So one, I mean, I thought at some point that would happen, but the way I think we've talked about this, the way that they've developed Carol from season 1 to what they've done now, she's probably the most evolved and well thought out character. I mean, her and Daryl, which is strange. Daryl doesn't exist in the comics, and in the comics, Carol isn't what she is in the show. But I thought it was fucking great, and I thought it wasn't something she did out of any kind of malice or evil. I feel like she thought
she's definitely stepping up to the plate, and it's funny because people when I read reviews or see videos, like ours, they talk about the dictatorship, right? So I love seeing how people want to assume that there might be a council, or would you rather see a council of people that are on par with Rick, or probably even above at this point?
Yeah.
Just to say,
that's what they listen to, right?
It doesn't.
There's a council.
Yeah, there's not one people or not one person that should be in charge. It should be a council of people that should.
Well, you know what I think it happens, and this is always when there's a time of peace, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? But I think when shit hits the fan, no one wants to make a decision. Everyone wants one person to be in charge of it because no one wants to have to make the tough decisions.
Yeah, and live with the consequences.
And obviously, that role has destroyed Rick. I feel like after a while, you have to admit that. I mean, he looks like. And again, this is all credit to Andrew Lincoln, the actor. But like the way he plays him each season, he's like slowly lost his sanity. You watch him in episode 1, and I did. They were playing it right before the new season started, all the episodes, and it's just like he plays it so differently. But you've seen the weight and the consequences of everything, And it's weird because we have to also remember that this shot isn't shot like in Breaking Bad real time. We do have time jumps, but whenever we're watching, there are no time jumps. We are literally watching as it happens, So not a lot of time has passed. I mean, have they ever announced how much time's actually passed in the show?
I think it was like 30 days or whatever, right?
Well,
the first episode
from the episodes, from the season. I'm talking about in general since the outbreak. It's been like a year, right? Like that's what they've announced.
Oh man, I have no idea.
I know we skipped winter. I know we skipped winter going into the third season, and then we did 30 days going into this season. So, the point is, it hasn't been a really long time, and I think that again, if you put in perspective how much time has actually passed within the show, it even gives you a more appreciation for Rick, But with that being said, I mean that was kind of that whole fucking theme is this dude has to kind of jump back into this role that he didn't want to.
Yeah.
What I was going to say about this, and I really liked it, I didn't realize this was written by Robert Kirkman until after the fact. He actually penned this episode, and it did have one moment that felt very comic booky to me, like not in a bad way at all, but that scene where they're driving the radio. But just that reveal when they stop and they do that slow pan and you just see like fucking thousands upon thousands of zombies.
Man,
that was like one of the best
awesome.
moments of the show for me. I was like, all right, finally. And I told you right before the season started, I was hoping it got there, and I feel like it's finally getting there, man.
Well, here's the thing. You know what? Because I think a lot of people would say this episode was definitely slow paced.
Okay
again, I feel like it. You always think of the last thing on how episode ends, right? So you always want them usually ending more with a bang or just kind of like with a good cutoff, right? So
this was an incredible.
I mean, I would rather see it start off slow and then end on a good note, like this one did. But I actually prefer the slow moments. Like I prefer the first half than the second half.
Did you?
Yeah, because I think it just like I want to see more about like I'm more curious about the overall season arc, right? Which is like I guess the virus or whatever, like this airborne thing. And there's this one disgusting scene where Herschel's like trying to give the doctor like some medicine, and he just like coughs on him.
All right, look, that was a great moment though. But like you're talking about character moments, that was a fucking great. And he just takes it off, dude. Oh my god!
But here's the thing, I'm just like,
sorry, go ahead.
like, man, listen, come on, bro. Like, this wasn't a kid. This was. I know the doctor was sick. He's a doctor too. Like, bro, you go just like cough. Just like that, I'm like, bro.
You should know better.
Okay,
doctor.
and at this point, you fucking asshole, right?
Seriously.
But at this point, like, come on. Now he obviously has to be infected. I felt like that was.
They're going to make him like the magic angelic guardian of the group. He's somehow not going to get sick. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, you have to figure at some point they're going to have to try to kill Herschel off.
Well, here's the thing. That said, though, usually when in this world that we've been watching, usually when they're just one symptom of like. Oh shit! It's I'm kind of like I got a scratch on me or I'm coughing. I feel like that person just gonna slowly die.
Well, what does that say? Because Glenn, man.
Yeah, I know that's what I was just about to say.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
they're not gonna kill Glenn. They're not gonna kill. I mean, I don't want to say that anyone's safe, but well, here's the thing: Lori wasn't liked. That's why she. I'm not saying that's why she was killed, but it made it a lot easier for people to deal with her dying. Who's the other one? The blonde. Andrea. Yeah. She wasn't liked, so it makes it a little bit easier to kill him off. Glenn is a universally liked character,
Yeah.
I mean, Shane was also a universally liked character, even though he was bad, but he was supposed to die. Like we always knew that was imminent. So it's a little bit different, but it's not looking good. Especially because all right, so where do we end off with Daryl and Michonne and all those people? Because don't they just make they hightail it, and that's the last time you fucking see those guys?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, so we'll go back to that. So we see that scene, right? Like, okay, thousands of zombies. They try to reverse back. Now the car's stuck, and they're like, okay, what the hell are we gonna do?
Oh,
so
I love that
out.
scene. There's something about the spinning tire on a zombie's face that really did it for me. So I think Greg Notaro's the effects guy.
Yeah,
good on you, sir.
Bravo.
Yeah, go on. So but they basically hightail it, right? And this is
he's such a badass with that one like arrow. I feel like at this point, like, come on, man, you need to invest in some other weapons, man.
Yeah, like a repeater, right? Like something that shoots more. I don't know. That scene where he like was sliding down the car steps.
Yeah, and then just like, yeah.
Oh, dude, fucking great. But this is the scene you were telling me about that I guess they use as a season preview. And you know me, I usually like to stay away from trailers and previews because like Spider-Man 3 ruined my life once. So I just don't even watch trailers anymore. I know that was 6 years ago, and I still don't watch trailers. Yeah. But you were telling me about it, and it was reminiscent. It's a callback to the comic book. I believe it's Volume 3. Volume 3.
Yep.
In the prison.
Volume 3, yeah, because that's the prison.
Yeah. Where it starts. I think it goes like 4 or 2 volumes.
It goes up to 6, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, he's 3 ones. All right, so it was really reminiscent. There's a scene, I think, right after Tyrese loses his daughter, who's non-existent in this show. But he's like pissed off. He goes into this gymnasium in the jail, and presumably he's being swarmed by zombies. The door shuts.
You think
he
dead.
He dead. You know, later in the comic, we have a great fucking moment where they open that door and he's just sitting there,
casually, like chilling.
Badass. Yeah. And that was great. And that's what we got. Now, obviously, Tyrese is played a little bit differently, but they still kind of have the same qualities, I suppose. Yeah. What I didn't like about that scene is because he eventually volunteers to go with Michonne and Daryl. So why is it that he's just like, I'm gonna, like when the door's open, he's just so casual. And it's not like casual for 10 seconds. It was like 40 seconds of just chilling there.
That's because the other guy's like screaming like, yo, what are you doing? And then
also
like,
thought he was gonna die. But
you know what, I was kind of scared too. Because I'm like, yeah, listen, we got 2 black guys.
In the same scene, no less, one of them's dying. Let's be honest.
And then, that was the thing I didn't really get either. It's like, okay, so he knew what he was going to do. He talked to Carol, please look after her. Yeah. Look after my sister. I think that's his sister, right?
Yeah.
In the show. And then, we see, Carol get upset.
Well, I think that was the first moment I knew. Yeah. We didn't know until the end when she confessed it, but I think that was the first telling.
And you know what? That confused me. Now looking at it, I'm like, wow, I don't know why I didn't pick it up. I'm just like,
why she pissed off?
Yeah, she's pissed off at something else.
Spilling water for no reason.
Yeah.
She's bitching at Rick to get water. You know?
And so she's like, okay, well, I want to help out my sister, so I should go do what I should do.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's say there wasn't a horde of zombies, and then they went successfully from point A to point B in the car to the pharmacy. I think he would have been okay. So I don't know why it's like, okay, you're about to die, and you're out risking yourself for your sister. To not do anything for the longest time. Yeah,
I don't know, well, I'm just saying, at any second you get scratched or bit. Place. That's what I'm saying. I didn't like it. Now, it did lead to a great part, which is what we're talking about. Daryl, Michonne, the new black guy. Sorry, I don't know your name. You're just about to die, black guy. Yeah. And so they all get out of the car. They make a run for it, and then Daryl's like, I'm going to wait for 45 seconds. Eventually he gets out, and he's got the hammer,
Starts shooting shit with the hammer.
Yeah, hammer, right? So he's either Old Boy or Thor. Like, he's just going crazy on these fucking people. But he gets swarmed, man. And I love that actor. Chandler Briggs, I think his name might be. He was in The Wire, so I know him. I'm really familiar with his work, but I loved that scene. He just starts going crazy. But the thing, again, is we see him get swarmed. We see zombies touch him. So presumably he's dead until like 3 minutes later. I guess we do see them, right? Because they're in the woods and they think another zombie's coming and it's him with the hammer.
And like, at this point he's exhausted. And you're like, man, he seriously must have massacred probably like 20-something
I was thinking that.
20, 30.
I like that he didn't come out as superhuman. Like, he was he was deathly tired. Yeah. So I did like that. But basically they run off, and that's the last time we see him for the episode.
Yeah, and here's the scary part, because now you have to know that they needed a car, and they're working under a time constraint. Yeah. So they have, I think it's less than 12 hours, but I know for sure it's less than 24 hours.
Yeah, they said 24 hours, but some people were going to die within 12 hours, depending on the symptoms and stuff.
And that's assuming, one, that they have the right stuff at the pharmacy, right?
Yeah,
if it's not,
right.
I think for the sake of the show,
they're going to have it there.
Yeah, I think for the sake of the show, like, oh, it's just so conveniently, this is what we need. And but yeah, now the problem is they had the time constraint, but that was with the car. Yeah. So now how are we going to see them?
Yeah, they're going to find a plane. They're going to do something. Yeah. I mean, I have no idea, man. But
so I'm definitely excited to see how that's going to build, because I think next week's episode is really going to be more like, oh, hey, we're just go guns blazing more versus the slow pace episode. Although I did enjoy the slow pace episode.
Well, I feel like you need these episodes to set up the action-packed episodes. Yeah. I think the bigger thing that is going to happen next week that we're not even really talking about is Rick knows that he can't let this slide with Carol. He understands why Carol did what she had to do. He knows that it's also wrong, but I don't think he knows how to handle the situation. And so now it's about, he's the only one who knows right now, you know, if he tells one person, how's it going to spread, how do they want to handle it, what happens when Tyrese comes back and he finds out, I mean, if he comes, he just survived a zombie horde, I'm sure he's going to come back, but that's what I'm saying, it's just like, that's going to be the most interesting part of how this plays out, and I think it's also going to weigh down Rick's morality, which he didn't want to do this, and now he's already thrown back into it.
We forgot about this in episode 2, but when he did the killing of the pigs, that was really hard for me to see.
Not only was that, but again, Andrew Lincoln is a great fucking actor. Because that whole part where I think they did drowned out, so it was like ambient noises and just like his face. Fucking brilliant. I don't know who directed that episode. It's like fucking props, man. All I'm saying is I've been so impressed with this season of Walking Dead. You know me, man. I just talk shit about it because it just is not ever as good as I want it to be.
Because we talked about in the first episode how, you know, it was the It was an episode, you know? Like, I was just... You know, I was watching
that was in episode 6, you know what I'm saying? Like, somewhere we're in the middle of the season that, you know, we don't care about. But
I'm excited so far. Like, I'm definitely intrigued because I want to see where this builds. You know, because there's someone that I actually heard, you know how there's overall, like, you know, you have shows like Breaking Bad where there's pretty much an end goal to each thing. And then there's, like, the season, like, main conflict, right? So there's like the season, but then there's that overarching thing.
Yeah, you're always working towards the end, but you have many conflicts.
Yeah. There's no overall goal with Walking Dead, if you notice that. Because, you know, the showrunners and all that stuff. Yeah, because they're really, cause, you know, they brought the first season, if we want to recap all the way, about like, oh, it started in France, or whatever. Like, that didn't go anywhere. You know, we're just letting you know it started in France, alright?
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is, like, you have a world of open possibilities. That's what The Walking Dead is, you know? Now, you're talking about France. I mean, I don't know if these are, like, Breaking Bad writers who were like, remember that thing I put in the 3rd episode of Season 1? Bringing that shit back now.
No, well, anyway, I was just trying to say, like, we don't know what the angle is. It just seemed like, it's very clear to me that there's, they need to focus on, well, let's just make this show good.
Yeah.
So, there's a season.
Yeah, so you're saying, they're only going season to season. They're not thinking big picture. Well, what I was saying is just like, you know, that fucking spin-off that was announced. I mean, that could be a possibility. I'm not saying I want a French Walking Dead, but it would be interesting to maybe see, like, geopolitically, like, what's going on in Europe? Like, what the fuck, you know?
I think that would be cool. I don't think that's going to happen.
Because you were saying the big rumor is Daryl, right? You think Daryl's going to leave?
Well, I'm thinking, Daryl's going to be, like, his own Rick or whatever, and then do his own thing.
I mean, can Daryl sustain his own show? I love Daryl.
I don't know.
But I love him because he's the guy.
But why else would I be interested in watching the spinoff?
I already told you. You already know my feelings on the spinoff. They haven't mastered getting one show good. I can't believe they're greenlighting the second one. But, you know, it's all about fucking money. And there's 16 million people who watch this goddamn show every week. So, I mean, I'm not hating on success. I'm just saying, like, they finally have started to get this right. And I think it might also have to do with showrunners. You know, they've not kept a consistent showrunner for their entire series. And so this is like the first time that they've had the same guy for more than a year. So maybe because you're getting a singular vision, it's starting to shape up. But I'm still skeptical, and I don't know. You're right. Daryl is the only reason that I'd want to watch a second show. And even so, I just don't know if he's strong enough to have his own show. Because you had a lot of his emotional moments and stuff with Merle last year. You know, like that fucking.
And there's a few episodes too. That episode where his brother died,
and he fucking is pushing him and crying, right?
And you know what they did too was that. You hate his racist ass brother. And you still liked him. Or, I mean, I definitely did.
I loved Merle.
I
hated Merle as a person, as a character. I loved him, man, because he was everything you wanted out of a character. But I think that says a lot to Michael Rooker, the guy who played him. Well, what I liked is, like, you know, the first Merle that we got was a little too racist and crazy and shit, but when we see him again, reintroduction to him in Season 3, I guess they scaled that back a little bit. Like, he's still a racist asshole, whatever, but he was a more likable racist asshole, you know? But yeah, when he gets killed, I mean, the way he goes out, which is like the car, you know what I'm saying? And what does he put the song on really loud and all the zombies swarm the car or whatever? You remember how Merle does?
No.
He gets governor killed, but that's like what he does. He's going to kill the people from the governor, right? So He like has the car rolling and the zombies
and he was gonna...
that was a great scene.
Good.
That's what I'm saying. So like you end up really liking him, but I just remember Daryl's like the biggest emotional part of Daryl's entire arc was just when he sees his brother eating that fucking, and he
yeah.
crying like the zombies trying to kill him, and he won't kill him. He's just pushing him away and
yeah.
crying like a fucking
hard.
child.
It was hard.
Man.
Yeah.
That for me was, I'm getting fucking goosebumps talking about it. Yeah, it's great acting, and I guess that's my point. Is like, I don't know if he gets that kind of emotional.
Speaking of which, we still haven't seen the governor yet, so
that's a good point.
I wonder what's happening with that. So I'm curious to see. I feel like next episode we should see a hint.
I feel like
we're in episode 4.
I don't think we're gonna see him until episode 7 or 8 because they split him up.
Oh, okay.
So I think he's gonna show up like penultimate episode of the first 8 episodes, and then he'll be prominent in the finale, and then we're gone for 3 months, and then we're gonna come back in February and finish it out.
Well, the thing we need to know is who is feeding the zombies, because we saw the dead rats.
That was fucking big,
right?
yeah. Well, didn't they say? Well, they didn't officially say who it
No.
was.
They
right?
really didn't bring it up so much in episode 3, but it was like you notice in episode 2, like okay, dead rats. They're just zombies going towards one specific.
Did they
place.
ever say that the little girl fed them?
No,
it was
implied. But
right?
that's what.
Yeah.
No, I don't know if they didn't imply, but I think that's what they definitely want the audience to imply. Because that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, this little girl, just like she really is oblivious because she was calling these zombies names.
Yeah, people.
So she's
like, they're not people. Like,
yeah,
they're killers.
so she's probably gonna treat them like pets, and that's like, sweetheart, this is not what you do.
Yeah, for sure.
So,
well, I mean, that's a good way to explain it, I guess. But like, I would like a bigger arc on that, And I'm still not convinced, by the way. I mean, even though we saw the governor kill everybody, like it could be like a long con. Like you could have one person in there, much like they did with the comics. Like I don't even remember that they had like. Didn't someone help him escape in the comic books and he ended up being
like a mole
bad?
Or something. Yeah.
So I mean, like, that's not out of the realm of possibility. We have nothing but former Woodbury people over there, So, I mean, I don't know. All I'm saying is like the point I was going to make about it. I feel like we have a really good thing going with Walking Dead right now, and I don't know if there's necessarily room for the governor. Like, I don't need him. I don't miss him right now.
No.
And that's what I loved about the comics always is that the threat of the governor coming back was always there. Mm-hmm. He didn't have to come back, but you knew out there in the crazy world, this dude was out running around, and I like that more than needing to have him just for the sake of the story. So I don't know, but I mean that's my review. That's our review. I suppose,
it's our review.
Of the 3rd episodes, and like we said, we're really enjoying it. I feel like this is the strongest and most consistent season that they've had. So I mean, here's hoping for more. We'll be back. We're gonna watch it next Sunday. We're gonna try to be really consistent about this. We got to get a little bit better, but look for us. Please comment at the bottom, all that good jazz.
Subscribe.
So yeah, I'm Christian Leone.
Yep, DJ Miles. Take care, guys.
Bonus points. Goodbye.